What's up, everyone? Hope all of you will be doing well and Ramadan is going on. However, there's a lot of stuff happening around in the world, some wars and stuff. But, anyways, let's hope all this ends. Right now, just headed back from work, and I haven't made any videos lately where I was driving and talking to the camera like that. However, today I thought I should. Life has been busy lately, and along the way I was gonna try to listen to one interview. It is of, since many of you might know, I'm quite interested in keeping myself updated with AI and what's happening in the AI landscape. So there's this company Anthropic. They there's some development related to that, and there's an interview of its CEO. So right now I was interested in listening to that, so I might play that as we go. But let me show you the scenes on the road. It's the roads are kind of empty because of Ramadan. And on my main channel I have also started making videos related to X monetization, so I've been making content over there, but didn't find much time to edit or post that. So let's try to play the interview. Appeared. Here we have some traffic, you see, guys. Here we have traffic, but the traffic light turned green. We might not be able to make it till we reach there, but let's see. Yeah, definitely not gonna make it there.
Intelligence community and military for applications like cyber, combat support operations, various things like this. And the reason we've done this is, I believe that we have to defend our country. I believe we have to defend our country from autocratic adversaries like China and like Russia. And so we've been very lean forward. We have a substantial public sec team, public sector. But I have always believed that, as we defend ourselves against our autocratic adversaries, we have to do so in ways that defend our democratic values and preserve our democratic values. And so we have said to the Department of War that we are okay with all use cases, basically 98 or 99% of the use cases they want to do, except for two that we're concerned about. One is domestic mass surveillance. There, we're worried that things may become possible with AI that weren't possible before. An example of this is something like taking data collected by private firms, having it bought by the government, and analyzing it in mass via AI. That actually isn't illegal. It was just never useful before the era of AI. So there's this way in which domestic mass surveillance is getting ahead of the law. The technology is advancing so fast that it's out of step with the law. That's case number one. Case number two is fully autonomous weapons. This is not the partially autonomous weapons that are used in Ukraine or could potentially be used in Taiwan today. This is the idea of making weapons that fire without any human involvement. Mm-hmm. Now, even those, I think that our adversaries may at some point have them, so perhaps they may at some point be needed for the defense of democracy. But we have some concerns about them. First, the AI systems of today are nowhere near reliable enough to make fully autonomous weapons. Anyone who's worked with AI models understands there's a basic unpredictability to them that in a purely technical way we have not solved. And there's an oversight question too. If you have a large army of drones or robots that can operate without any human oversight, where there aren't human soldiers to make the decisions about who to target, who to shoot at, that presents concerns. And we need to have a conversation about how that's overseen. And we haven't had that conversation yet. And so we feel strongly that, for those two use cases should not be allowed.
The Pentagon has told us that they have agreed in principle to these two restrictions, and they wanted to strike a deal. Why couldn't an agreement be reached?
So there were, there were kind of several stages of this, all done quickly and kind of all, determined by the kind of 3-day, the kind of very limited 3-day window that they gave us, right? They gave us an ultimatum to agree to their terms in 3 days, or be designated a supply chain risk or Defense Production Act. I guess we'll get to that later. But during that time, there were a few back and forths. At one point they sent us language that appeared on the surface to meet our terms, but it had all kinds of language like if the Pentagon deems it appropriate, or to do anything in line with laws. So it didn't actually concede in any meaningful way. And there were further steps of it that also did not concede in any meaningful way. We have wanted to strike a deal since the beginning. If you want to get a sense of the Pentagon's position of it, the Pentagon spokesman, Sean Parnell, the day before, he reiterated their position: we only allow all lawful use. And this was the same as when they sent us their terms. So they have not exceeded they have not in any way agreed to our exceptions in any meaningful way.
The president posted today in response to the situation, their selfishness, referring to Anthropic, is putting American lives at risk, our troops in danger, and our national security in jeopardy. What do you think? What's your response?
So, in the statement we issued yesterday, and also in the one we issued today, we said that we were willing, even if the Department of War or even if the Trump administration takes these unprecedented measures against us, this kind of supply chain designation that's normally used against foreign adversaries, we have said that, even if they take these extreme actions, we'll do everything we can to support the Department of War, to provide its technology for as long as it takes to offboard us and onboard, a competitor who's willing to do these things that we are not willing to do.
Prepared to exit.
Yeah. So we have offered continuity. We're actually deeply concerned about this. We're deeply concerned about the kind of interruption of service, which is exactly what's happening when we're designated a supply chain risk, right? When we're designated a supply chain risk, they say you have to be off all of our systems. And I've talked to people on the ground, uniformed military officers, who say this is essential. Not having this will set us back 6 months, 12 months, maybe longer. And so that's why we've tried so hard to try to get a deal. But again, the 3-day ultimatum, the risk to designate us a supply chain, the whole timeline has been driven by the Department of War, not by us. We are trying to provide continuity. We are trying to provide the services. We are trying to provide it. We are trying to reach a deal here.
So then what does this mean for the safety of Americans?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. In the short run, it means, and it's up to the Department of War. We're still trying to reach a deal with them.
You
We're
are
still trying to talk to them.
Are they talking with you?
We've received various communications. We haven't seen anything that satisfies our. We haven't seen anything that satisfies our concerns. But I mean that just in the broad sense that we are still interested in working with them as long as it is in line with our red lines.
But it sounds like you're still really far apart, and now Secretary Hegseth has determined you all a supply chain risk and said what he said. So do you think it's possible at this point to come to an agreement?
Look, an agreement requires both sides. We, for our side, are willing to serve the national security of this country. We are willing to provide our models to all branches of the government, including the Department of War, the intelligence community, the more civilian branches of the government, under the terms that we've provided, under our red lines. We are always willing to do that, right? We don't take offense here. The reason we're providing our technology in this way is that we want to support the national security of the United States. We're not doing it for the sake of Pentagon officials. We're not doing it for the sake of a particular administration. We're doing it because it's good for the national security of the United States, and we're going to continue to do that.
Why do you think that it is better for Anthropic, a private company, to have more say in how AI is used in the military than the Pentagon itself?
So first I would say, and I think this is an important point, no one on the ground has actually, to our knowledge, run into the limits of any of these exceptions. These are 1% of use cases, and ones that we have seen no evidence on the ground have been done. Now again, I can't say what their plans are. We don't know. But we have no evidence that these use cases have actually run into trouble. We've spread across the Department of War and other parts of the government without running into any of these problems. Now, in terms of these one or two narrow exceptions, I actually agree that in the long run, we need to have a democratic conversation. In the long run, I actually do believe that it is Congress's job. If, for example, there are possibilities with domestic mass surveillance, government buying of bulk data that has been produced on Americans, locations, personal information, political affiliation, to build profiles, and it's now possible to analyze that with AI. The fact that that's legal, that seems like the judicial interpretation of the Fourth Amendment has not caught up, or the laws passed by Congress have not caught up. So in the long run, we think Congress should catch up with where the technology is going. But Congress is not the fastest moving body in the world. And for right now, we are the ones who see this technology on the front line. I would expect that the Department of War, I would expect them to be thoughtful about these issues, to proactively, think about these issues. And so I would have expected them not to have any concern, and for us to have a conversation. But I think in the absence of that, we need to look at the technology. We need to look at what it's capable of in terms of reliability, and we need to look at the ways in which it's getting ahead of the law, and in which it's escaping the intent of the law. Those are some very narrow areas, but I think that they're important. These are things that are fundamental to Americans, right? The right not to be spied on by the government, right? The right for our military officers to make decisions about war themselves and not turn it over completely to a machine. These are fundamental principles.
But in the name of fundamental principles, why should Americans trust you, the CEO of a private company, to make these decisions?
Okay guys, so I'm gonna end the video over here, and hopefully we'll meet each other soon. I'll try to keep up with making these sorts of videos. I know a lot of people are watching them, but not many are subscribing. But well, we'll see where this momentum takes us. See you soon guys.